Today our topic is absolute value inequalities. So our essential question is, how can I solve inequalities with absolute value? Absolute value inequality is an inequality with absolute value. Pretty simple. Remember, our inequality rule is that when we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to flip the inequality. So it could flip from less than to greater than, or from greater than or equal to less than or equal to. But it flips if we multiply or divide by a negative number. Solving absolute value inequalities is pretty close to solving absolute value equations. That's why we started with absolute value equations. So we're going to use this nice little diagram here to help us. So it splits into two boxes. So the absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 5. The first box, we're just going to rewrite everything, but we're taking away those absolute value bars. So in the first box, we write everything without the absolute value bars. Then in the second box, we have to flip two things. We have to flip the inequality symbol to be less than or equal to, and then we have to flip the positive 5 to a negative 5. So we have to do two things. And for this one, it's solved. We have x is greater than 5, and x is less than or equal to negative 5. So we're going to put this down here. X is greater than or equal to 5. X is less than or equal to negative 5. But since we have two, we're going to either need and or in the middle. We have to graph this to figure out. So x is greater than or equal to 5. So let's count by 5s on our number line. Greater than or equal to 5 is going to be closed circle at 5. 10 is greater than, so we shade that direction. We have less than or equal to negative 5. So closed circle at negative 5. Less than, negative 10 is less than, so we shade in that direction. This graph is split apart, so an or is going to go in the middle. Your answer is not complete unless you have that word in the middle. Second example, we have x, absolute value of x is less than 2. So again, first box, we rewrite it without the absolute value bars. Second box, we have to flip the inequality sign and flip the positive 2 to negative 2. We rewrite this down here. X is less than 2. X is greater than negative 2. Put this on our number line. This time we can count by ones. X is less than 2. We'd have an open circle at 2. 1 is less than 2, so we're going to shade that direction. X is greater than negative 2. We have an open circle at negative 2. Negative 1 is greater than negative 2, so we shade in that direction. So this meets in the middle, which means and goes in the middle. It's an and compound inequality. All right, just two more problems. Solving absolute value inequalities. These are just going to get a little more complicated because now we're going to have more inside the absolute value bars. So again, that first box, we take away the absolute value bars. That's the only thing we do. In our second box, we have to flip. So we flip the inequality bars. So we flip that to less than or equal to. We flip the positive number to a negative number. Now we just need to solve for x. So we're going to undo minus 3 with a plus 3. X is greater than or equal to 5 plus 3 is 8. We can put this down here in our answer box because that's one of our answers. On the other side, we have x minus 3 is less than or equal to negative 5. Add 3 to both sides to get x by itself. X is less than or equal to negative 2. Bring that down here. All right, now we need to graph this so we can figure out if we need and or in the middle. So we can number our number line. Let's go by 2's. We can get -2 and 8 on our graph. X is greater than or equal to 8. Close circle at 8. Greater than would be in the direction of 10 because 10 is greater than 8. X is less than or equal to -2 means a closed circle at -2, and we would shade in the direction of left. We would shade left. This is a split apart graph, which means the word that goes in the middle is or. Last example. Absolute value of -2x plus 1 is less than 7. So in that first box, we are going to take away those absolute value bars. So we rewrite everything, no absolute value bars. In our second box, we flip. So the first part stays the same. We flip the less than sign to greater than, flip the +7 to -7. Solve. -2x plus 1 is less than 7 minus 1 on both sides. We get -2x is less than 6. Then we need to divide both sides by -2. We get x. We divided by a negative number, which means we have to flip our inequality sign. 6 divided by -2 is -3. So that is one of our answers. X is greater than -3. Our other side, we solve that, same steps, -1 on both sides, we get -2x is greater than -8. Divide both sides by -2. Again, we're dividing by a negative, which means our inequality sign is going to flip. -8 divided by -2 is +4. All right, so we have x is less than 4. X is greater than -3. Let's put that on our graph. We can count by ones. Just have to add an extra line there for 4 to fit. Start with graphing x is greater than -3. We have an open circle at -3. We're going to go to the right because those are where the greater numbers are. Graph x is less than 4. We have an open circle at 4. 3, 2, and 1, those are all less than 4, so we shade in that direction. Our graph meets in the middle, which means the word and goes in the circle. Remember, you have to have the word and or there. All right, that's all the notes I have for you today. Thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel.